The first Kazekage, Reto, brought all the shinobi living in the desert under his control with his overwhelming power and founded the village during this process. He was first seen at the 5 Kage summit, accompanied by Shamon, who would become the second Kazekage in the future. He received backlash when he stated that there was already a tailed beast in Sunagakure, and that he would demand compensation for this. Like some other Kazekage, his death also occurred as a result of an assassination. Reto also loved his country and people so much that he attended the 5 Kage summit reluctantly, aiming for beneficial conditions on behalf of his people living in the sand. Second Kazekage. Shamon became second Kazekage after Reto's death, continued to research the Bijou to strengthen the village. He aimed to control Shukaku to empower his village. In Sunagakure, he conducted serious research on puppets, aiming to establish a kind of army for his country located in the middle of the desert, thereby strengthening Sunagakure shinobi power. However, like other Kazekage, he ultimately died by assassination. Third Kazekage, whose name is unknown, continued Shukaku research just like the second. He also possessed magnet release, a Keke Genkai that allowed him to manipulate magnetic objects by combining his magnetic chakra with iron sand. Using his research on Shukaku and his own abilities, he created the iron sand technique, which Chiyo described as the most feared weapon in Sunagakure's history. The strongest aspect of this technique was its ability to disrupt the structure of other puppets, rendering them useless. Like other Kazekage, he was killed in an assassination. Sasori planned his assassination and turned him into a puppet after killing him. Orochimaru somehow obtained the DNA of the third Kazekage and resurrected him using Edo Tensei. He then made the resurrected Kazekage fight against his own puppet, and the real one proved to be stronger than the puppet. Eventually, the Kazekage managed to nullify the technique and return to the Pure Land. Fourth Kazekage. Rasa is known for his ability to use gold dust and is the one who sealed Shukaku into his son, Gaara. The daimyo of the Land of Wind began to cut Sunagakure's budget and started using Konohagakure's cheaper services. Foreseeing that his village would face extinction, Rasa strengthened the shinobi in the village and, for this reason, sealed Shukaku into Gaara. However, his idea was not as brilliant as he thought. As Gaara grew and developed, he began to attack people unintentionally, distancing himself from the village and its surroundings. Rasa and Yashimaru could no longer endure this, and devised a plan with the intention of pushing Shukaku into a berserk state. They succeeded, but Yashimaru was dead in the process. Rasa used gold dust to stop Shukaku, and was able to subdue Gaara, concluding that he was truly a failed experiment. Later, Rasa gave orders to assassinate his own son, but these attempts failed 6 times. Over time, as Gaara began to gain control over himself through solitude, he earned Rasa's admiration. The reason Rasa's gold dust is stronger than regular sand techniques is that gold is much heavier than ordinary sand. Fifth Kazekage. Gaara has details about his childhood that I haven't mentioned before. Initially, Rasa considered Gaara's siblings Temari and Kankuro as potential Jinchuriki candidates, but they were incompatible. Therefore, he chose Gaara. The reason Rasa referred to Gaara as an experiment is because Shukaku was sealed into Gaara before he was even born. Gaara was born prematurely and was very small at birth. His mother died shortly after his birth. In the beginning, Gaara grew up in isolation. After receiving ninjutsu training, he tried to connect with the villagers and treated them kindly, but they feared him and kept their distance because he had a tailed beast inside him. In a later assassination attempt on Gaara, he saw that his uncle Yashimaru attacked him wearing an Anbu mask. Gaara was devastated to realize that the only person who cared for him was trying to kill him. From that day on, he adopted a ruthless personality. The story behind the mark on Gaara's forehead originates here. Written in Japanese kanji characters, it reads, "Love," symbolizing that he only loves himself. After meeting Naruto, Gaara observed how Naruto treated his friends and what he did for his village. Over time, he transformed from a hateful personality into a more normal person. During the Great Ninja War, Gaara became very close friends with Naruto and felt deeply grateful to him. After Naruto became Hokage, Gaara mentioned that he would like to sit down and share a drink with him someday. First Mizukage. Byakuren is the founder of Kirigakure. During the Warring States period, he worked tirelessly to establish his country as one of the 5 great shinobi nations. At the first meeting of the 5 Kage, he was suspicious of Hashirama Senju's overly benevolent behavior. Later, when the Kazekage demanded 30% of the price Konoha would pay for a tailed beast, stating that they already had one, Byakuren became angry and tensions rose. Hashirama eventually pleaded with them, and the situation calmed down. Regarding his personality, It can be said that he was very outspoken. However, there is not much more information available about him. Second, Mizukage. Gengetsu Hōzuki typically displays a laid-back, cheerful, carefree, and constantly sarcastic demeanor. He often mocks his enemies, and at times praises them by acknowledging their strength. Gengetsu is highly skilled in both taijutsu and ninjutsu. He can defeat a group of shinobi with a single kick. During the war, despite explaining to the 4th Division how to defeat him, no shinobi was able to overcome his techniques. He easily broke through Gaara's seal and escaped from the sand effortlessly. One of Gengetsu's special techniques involves summoning a giant clam to assist him. After the clam opens its shell, it emits a mist that creates realistic illusions. Many shinobi fail to realize that these illusions are not real. Unless the giant clam is destroyed, the illusions will never cease. Additionally, Gengetsu can use a mixture resembling oil to disrupt the structure of sand. It was later revealed that this mixture is a combination of oil and water. Using this substance, he can create a powerful clone that increases in pressure as it moves. As the oil within the clone heats up, it turns the water into steam, and when the pressure reaches its peak, it causes a powerful explosion. As a master of water release, he is proficient in many water-based techniques. Throughout his life, Gengetsu had a rivalry with the 2nd Tsuchikage, which ultimately led to his death in a battle against him. He also knew Ōnoki personally and frequently teased him. Third Mizukage, whose name is unknown, accompanied the 1st Mizukage at the first 5 Kage summit. After the battle between Gengetsu and Mu, when Gengetsu died, he succeeded him. Like his name, his abilities are also unknown. Based on his final appearance, it can be assumed that he was old when he died. Additionally, considering that the village selects the strongest shinobi as Mizukage, the 3rd Mizukage must have been extremely powerful. There is no other information about him. 4th Mizukage, Yagura Karatachi, played a significant role in Kirigakure's reputation as the Bloody Mist. As a child, he participated in the academy's ritual which required students to kill each other. After Rin Nohara's death, the 3 Tails was sealed within Yagura, and he gained complete control over it at full power. One day, 2 Akatsuki members, Itachi and Juzo, infiltrated the Land of Water. Yagura, along with a hunter team, pursued them. His team was defeated by the duo, but Yagura, in version 2 mode, quickly killed Juzo. Itachi then neutralized him with Amaterasu and escaped, though this event occurred in a filler episode. During this time, Obito took control of Yagura and through him, seized control of the village. Under his rule, the nickname Bloody Mist was solidified as he exploited the weak for money and showed zero tolerance for opposition. At some point, Kisame killed Fuguki Suikazan because Fuguki was leaking information to other villages. While Yagura praised Kisame for his actions, Obito told Kisame that he was controlling Yagura. An uprising against Yagura's regime began, with Zabuza Momochi being one of the rebels. After the failed coup attempt, Zabuza's life was in danger, forcing him to flee. Later, Ao dispelled the genjutsu controlling Yagura, and he eventually died afterward. 5th Mizukage, Mei Terumī succeeded Yagura after his dreadful reign. She established diplomatic relations with other villages. Like others who took the exam, she participated in the Bloody Mist village's dark ritual, which required killing her comrades. Mei generally has a kind and cheerful personality, avoiding conflicts with others. Compared to other Kage, she is more open-minded, patiently listening to everyone during the Kage summit and acting rationally. In addition to this, she has a flirtatious side. She once told Sasuke that he was very handsome and that she wanted to kiss him. During the Infinite Tsukuyomi, she dreamed of being married. Mei's abilities are remarkable, as she managed to corner Sasuke, even while he was using Susanoo. Mei is skilled in fire, water, earth, and lightning releases. Her proficiency in water release is so advanced that she could stop Madara's Katan Jutsu. Additionally, she can use mist techniques, combining fire and water simultaneously. Mei possesses 2 Kekkei Genkai. The first is lava release, a combination of fire and earth that can melt anything it touches. The second is boil release, a combination of fire and water, which also allows her to dissolve whatever she touches. 6th Mizukage, Chōjūrō, is one of the last generation members of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Mist. He previously served Mei Terumī and succeeded her as the most recent Mizukage. During the war, he appeared very shy and lacked self-confidence. However, after becoming Mizukage, he gained confidence and truly embodied the role of a Kage. Compared to other Kage, Chōjūrō is patient and makes decisions slowly and rationally. His skills are considered some of the strongest in the entire village. During the Great War, he was able to defeat Black Zetsu, After becoming Mizukage, he grew powerful enough to nearly single-handedly defeat other 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Chōjūrō is also very strong, capable of delivering attacks powerful enough to knock a Susanoo into a wall. His sword, Hiramakare, has a dual handle that can split into 2 blades, allowing it to be used with both hands. He can also enhance these blades with chakra, increasing their range. In terms of ninjutsu, Chōjūrō is proficient in water release like Mei. If he does not have his sword with him, he can create a sword from water or generate water bullets. First Raikage, in the early days of his reign after the war period, sent the Gold and Silver brothers to capture the Nine Tails, but they failed. As a reward for their loyalty, the Yotsuki clan was granted land in the Valley of Clouds and Lightning. He attended the 5 Kage summit alongside the future second Raikage. During the summit, when Hashirama bowed his head and pleaded with them, the first Raikage remarked that Hashirama was weak and would not last. Second Raikage. He served as the first Raikage's bodyguard for many years and acted as his protector during the 5 Kage summit. During his tenure, he formalized an alliance between Kumogakure and Konoha. However, during the ceremony, both he and the second Hokage were attacked by the Silver brothers, who attempted a coup. He barely managed to survive the assault. Third Raikage. Third Raikage's leadership weakened due to the 8 Tails rampages. With limited resources, he was forced to search for a new Jinchuriki after one such attack. During one of these incidents, the third Raikage fought the 8 Tails alone to allow his comrades to escape. During their clashes, he fell on his own hand, creating a scar on his chest that became a source of shame for him. Following this, fighting the 8 Tails when the Jinchuriki lost control became a personal duty for him. Later, he sealed the 8 Tails into the Kohaku no Johei, a decision that resulted in the death of his nephew, who was already sealed within it. He did this because he believed that someone else could truly wield the 8 Tails at its full power. Subsequently, during selections with Dodai, Killer B was chosen as the suitable candidate to be the new Jinchuriki. Third Raikage also mentored Darui at some point, passing down the secrets of the Black Lightning technique solely to him. In the Third Shinobi War, he fought an army of 10,000 shinobi alone to secure his allies' escape, ultimately losing his life in this battle. Renowned for his incredible speed and durability, he became known as the strongest shield, capable of even evading Naruto's Rasen Shuriken. Fourth Raikage. Fourth Raikage is the son of the third Raikage. A search was conducted to find a partner who could team up with him, and that person was Killer B, who could perform the double lariat. The 8 Tails, which had been temporarily sealed by the third Raikage, was later sealed within Killer B. After sealing the 8 Tails, the fourth Raikage became concerned that other villages might target Killer B, so he essentially confined him within the village borders and supervised his training. The fourth Raikage is a highly short-tempered and impulsive character. During his fight with Sasuke, he attacked recklessly, knowing it could cost him his life. In one instance, he lost his arm due to Amaterasu, and in another, Gaara intervened to stop him. He is also known for being stubborn. For instance, he tried to keep Naruto and Killer B away from the war, but Naruto surpassed him and proved himself. Fifth Raikage, Darui, often uses the word boring and has a rather laid-back personality. During the war, Darui was assigned as the leader of the 1st Division. He nearly single-handedly defeated the Gold and Silver brothers, who wielded the ninja tools of the Sage of 6 Paths. Darui is an expert in water and lightning releases. He can neutralize enemies by using lightning within water. By combining water and lightning releases, he can utilize storm release, which allows him to fire beams of light resembling missiles at his opponents. As mentioned earlier, Darui is the only one who can use Black Lightning, a special type of lightning taught to him by the third Raikage. Additionally, he is proficient in Gengetsu and has fought Suigetsu with ease. First Tsuchikage, Ishikawa, stated during the 5 Kage summit that he came to the table with good intentions but would not easily accept the agreement. Ishikawa had a secret archive where he hid the bug tamer arts, even keeping it from his own clan. During his tenure, Ishikawa tasked his grandson Ōnoki with cleaning the stone monument in their village. During this time, he explained to Ōnoki that it symbolized the unyielding and unshakable will of the Iwagakure shinobi, a philosophy that Ōnoki adopted for himself. Second Tsuchikage, Mu, was known as the non-person due to having no physical form or chakra signature throughout his life. During his reign, he focused solely on the well-being of his country and its people. In the First Shinobi World War, Mu and Ōnoki formed an alliance between their villages and met with Madara Uchiha. However, Madara rejected them outright, stating that Konoha would be the dominant force. As a result, Ōnoki and Mu were defeated. Mu accompanied the first Tsuchikage during the 5 Kage summit and taught Ōnoki the dust release throughout his life. During his tenure as the second Tsuchikage, Iwagakure possessed both the 4 tails and 5 tails, while also pursuing other tailed beasts. He harbored a fierce rivalry with Gengetsu Hōzuki, which culminated in a battle where both perished. Mu had advanced chakra sensing abilities, capable of distinguishing even the chakra traces of close relatives. Even after suffering a fatal blow, he could split himself into 2 copies, though this halved his power. Additionally, Mu was one of the rare shinobi who could use all 5 basic nature transformations. He also mastered the Keke Tota, the advanced form of Keke Genkai, combining fire, earth, and wind releases to create a technique capable of disintegrating opponents at the molecular level. Third Tsuchikage, Ōnoki, spent his youth cleaning the stone monument and adopted the unwavering will he was taught as his philosophy. Despite his age, he stubbornly refused to retire, earning the nickname the Stubborn Old Man. Like Mu, he was highly skilled in the use of Keke Tota, frequently employing the particle-style atomic dismantling jutsu in battle. Ōnoki succeeded Mu as the 4th Tsuchikage. During the Third Shinobi World War, Ōnoki indirectly allowed many of his people to die due to the inadequacies of the time. Later, the third Hokage offered them a peace treaty, and though Iwagakure opposed it, Ōnoki was forced to accept the agreement to stop further bloodshed. At some point, he met Deidara and admired his art. During the Kage summit, Ōnoki fought against Uchiha Sasuke, but was unable to prevent his escape. He played a significant role in the Fourth Great Ninja War, often clashing with Madara Uchiha in arguments. Ōnoki managed to stop the first meteor summoned by Madara with great difficulty. Additionally, in numerous desperate situations during the war, he rallied the Shinobi Alliance, restoring their morale and determination. Fourth Tsuchikage. Kurotsuchi is the granddaughter of Ōnoki. She generally has a calm and laid-back personality. Before the Fourth Shinobi World War, she was more focused on killing the Jinchuriki of Zractions. This reflects her strong loyalty to her village. Unlike Ōnoki, after becoming Kage, she often smiles and expresses her desire for someone younger to take her place. Kurotsuchi is a fearless. She has rock formations that impale enemies. Additionally, she can combine earth and fire release to use proficient in earth fire and water release. Using earth release, she can construct a sturdy rock dome capable of withstanding several tons of falling rocks, and can hide underground to create spiked rock formations that impale enemies. Additionally, she can combine earth and fire release to use lava release. Thanks to her mastery of various natures, she can trap enemies using a mixture of lime and water, creating a cement-like substance before deploying her lava release. First Hoshikage. First Hoshikage founded Hoshigakure village thanks to a meteor that fell approximately 200 years ago. The meteor provided people with a strange chakra boost, but it also caused death due to the overwhelming chakra's effects. The only known facts about him are that he founded the village and learned how to harness the chakra from the meteor. Third Hoshikage. Third Hoshikage caught Natsuhi and Hotarubi trying to steal the meteor and subsequently exiled them. Afterward, he declared that the secret technique known as star training would be banned. Star training involved the radioactive energy emitted by the meteor. Shinobi who could harness this energy became extremely powerful, but prolonged exposure often resulted in their death. The peacock formation, unique to this village, allowed shinobi to grow wings from their backs, enabling flight and use in attacks. First mangaka. Painter Mangaka wants everyone to subscribe to his channel and like his videos, and those who watch can't resist. Fourth Hoshikage. When requests to lift the ban on star training were rejected, they killed the third Hoshikage. After seizing control of the village, Akahoshi resumed star training, believing that the power derived from the meteor would make shinobi invincible. He was highly skilled in ninjutsu, with advanced mastery of the mysterious peacock method. Additionally, he had a technique that allowed him to absorb the chakra of his comrades, further enhancing his strength. At one point, he implanted the meteor into his chest, successfully merging with it, but the meteor took control of him. His appearance changed and his chakra power increased tremendously. Akahoshi was able to overpower Naruto with chakra waves. Later, he sought Team Guy and Naruto's help to protect the meteor, but during subsequent battles, Naruto destroyed the meteor with his Rasengan. First Hokage, Hashirama Senju was known as the god of shinobi due to his unique abilities. He sought peace for the entire shinobi world by uniting all villages. The beginning of this endeavor traces back to his meeting with Madara Uchiha. Although he could not achieve peace during his lifetime, he took steps toward a future where peace could be possible. Throughout his life, Hashirama was caught in the war between the Uchiha and Senju clans, during which he witnessed the deaths of 2 of his 4 brothers, Kamawara and Itami, in one of these battles. Subsequently, together with his other brother Tobirama, who would become the second Hokage, they decided that this war could not continue as it was and thought of introducing a new shinobi system. Like Hashirama, Madara also lost many family members in the war. Eventually, each became the leader of their respective clans and continued fighting. However, at one point, Hashirama and Madara reached an agreement and founded Konoha, where wars would eventually cease. Following this, many other nations adopted the same method and established their own villages. Madara desired to become the Hokage of the village, but in a democratic vote, Hashirama was chosen as Hokage. Hashirama took Madara as his right-hand man, but Madara believed that after Hashirama, Tobirama would take the seat and that the Uchiha would be dissatisfied with this. After reading the tablet of the Uchiha that had been altered by Zetsu, Madara left the village and one day would return to face him again. In later periods, Madara attacked Konoha multiple times. After countless battles, he confronted Hashirama by controlling the Nine Tails and was ultimately defeated, being stabbed in the back by Hashirama and suffering a heavy defeat. In his final moments before death, Madara realized how much Hashirama had changed. After this battle, Tobirama hid Madara's body, and Hashirama's wife, Mito, sealed the Nine Tails within herself for the benefit of the village. For a while, everything went well, but Takigakure sent Kakuzu in an assassination attempt against Hashirama. Why did they do this? I don't know. How could you possibly defeat him? Ultimately, Kakuzu was defeated and war erupted again. At an unknown point in time, the famous 5 Kage summit attended by all the previous Kage was held. The purpose was to achieve peace with other nations and establish a balance of power. However, Tobirama demanded money from other villages for the tailed beasts. The Kazekage pointed out that they already had tailed beasts and also demanded land due to their barren territories. However, this meeting ended in a kind of failure. As a result, peace could not be achieved during Hashirama's era. Before his death, he instructed Tobirama not to treat the Uchiha poorly. During his time as Hokage, Hashirama was renowned as the strongest shinobi and the most powerful ninja in history. Even though Madara possessed the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, he admitted that he was still weaker than Hashirama. Throughout his life, Hashirama was the only shinobi who could capture all 8-tailed beasts on his own. As the reincarnation of Asura Otsutsuki, his vitality and physical energy were incredibly high. His chakra levels were far greater than those of normal humans. His cells, coveted by many ninjas, could even serve as limbs or eyes for others. Hashirama's cells were so powerful that they allowed him to fight non-stop for 24 hours. He could easily resist Edo Tensei. For instance, Danzo could use Koto Amatsukami, a jutsu that could only be used once every 10 years, once a day thanks to Hashirama's cells. This alone is enough to understand how valuable Hashirama's cells are. By the way, don't forget to watch the video where I explain all Mangekyo Sharingan techniques, and also support me by subscribing to the Painter Mangaka channel. Hashirama was incredibly skilled in yin and yang release, as well as the 5 basic nature transformations. Additionally, as a user of Senjutsu, he could perform much stronger jutsu in Sage mode and became incredibly powerful in Taijutsu. However, he was best known for using wood release, a combination of earth and water release. This ability was unique to Hashirama. No one else outside of his genetics could use this power. With wood release, he could create clones, absorb chakra, and construct giant statues that could rival Susanoo. He even developed a technique to control tailed beasts. You can watch the video where I explain this in detail by clicking on the cards. Second Hokage, Tobirama Senju became the second Hokage after Hashirama's legacy of advising to treat the Uchiha clan well. Throughout his life, he ensured Konoha's political stability and improved its prosperity. Before becoming Hokage, Tobirama was always by Hashirama's side, so I'll skip his earlier life. Tobirama was known as one of the strongest shinobi in history. He invented many jutsu and was regarded as the fastest ninja of his time. However, upon seeing the technique used by the 4th Hokage, he acknowledged that Minato was even faster than himself. Tobirama could effortlessly use all 5 nature transformations, but was particularly a master of water release. He could produce an almost ocean-like amount of water without any existing water source. Tobirama is known as the inventor of forbidden techniques such as Edo Tensei and Kage Bunshin. In fact, during the Great War, when Naruto demonstrated proficiency with the techniques, Tobirama repeatedly scolded him, stating that he had originally created them himself. After becoming Hokage, Tobirama established institutions such as the Academy, Anbu, and Chunin exams. While other nations adopted these, the Uchiha clan consistently caused issues. In response, Tobirama created the Konoha military police force, which was composed solely of Uchiha. However, much of the public and the Uchiha themselves believed this was done to marginalize them, leading to even greater issues. While attempting to establish good relations with other villages, Tobirama tried to form a special alliance with Kumogakure. During a ceremonial parade, he and the second Raikage were attacked by the Gold and Silver brothers, leaving him on the brink of death. During the first Shinobi World War team, Tobirama, comprising Danzo, Torafu, and Kagami, found themselves in a deadlock. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the future Hokage, volunteered to act as a decoy to allow the others to escape, but Tobirama refused and chose to sacrifice himself instead. He designated Hiruzen as the future Hokage before being killed by Kinkaku. Third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, was the student of the second Hokage and is also known by the title the God of Shinobi. Hiruzen is from the first generation of ninjas raised by Konoha. From a young age, he showed exceptional skill in the ninja arts. Much like Sasuke and Naruto, there was also a kind of rivalry between Hiruzen and Danzo from the past. After the second Hokage's will, Hiruzen became the third Hokage. When he assumed this position, he allowed the creation of Root, a sub-branch of Anbu. This was the dark side of Konoha, where everything unethical was done, such as kidnappings, experiments, and assassinations. Hiruzen led Konoha during the Second and Third Shinobi World Wars. He ended the Third Shinobi World War by making a peace treaty with Iwa, but this treaty angered Danzo. Hiruzen could never convince his student, Orochimaru, to accept the will of fire. Therefore, he was always closer to Jiraiya and wanted him to become Hokage. However, later on, he realized that Jiraiya was too irresponsible and wouldn't be able to do it. At one point, he resigned from the position of Hokage and wanted Minato to become Hokage. After Minato became Hokage, in the following years, the Nine Tails attacked the village. Minato wanted to push the Nine Tails out of the village because he didn't want the villagers to be harmed. Hiruzen couldn't figure out how the Nine Tails came to the village. Minato knew, but didn't have the time to explain it. Minato and Kushina sacrificed themselves, sealing half of the Nine Tails into Naruto and the other half into Minato, and they died. Hiruzen then resumed his role as Hokage. Before Minato died, he asked Hiruzen to announce Naruto as a hero to the village. However, Hiruzen, fearing that Naruto would have enemies, gave him his mother's surname so that the villagers wouldn't know his connection to Minato. Later on, the Konoha Council began to suspect that the Uchiha clan was behind the attack and controlling the tailed beasts. The Uchihas became angry at this suspicion and planned a coup. No middle ground was found in the negotiations, and eventually Danzo intervened, ordering Itachi to wipe out his clan. After Itachi killed his clan, Hiruzen learned about it but couldn't stop the massacre. Just like Minato did, he entrusted Sasuke to Hiruzen and left the village. Years later, Orochimaru attacked the village. Hiruzen couldn't defeat Orochimaru, but he sealed his arms using a jutsu from the Uzumaki clan. He was eventually killed by Orochimaru. The Konoha Council wanted Jiraiya to become Hokage, but Jiraiya rejected this and brought Tsunade to the village, ensuring that she became Hokage. Fourth Hokage, Minato, like Naruto, joined the Konoha Academy with the dream of becoming Hokage. He met Kushina, who would later become Naruto's mother, there, and was placed in the same class as her. Minato joined a team led by Jiraiya, who took a special interest in him, recognizing his extraordinary abilities and believing that he might be the child of prophecy. After graduating, Kushina was kidnapped by Kumogakure. Konoha sent a ninja team, but it was Minato who noticed her red hair left as a clue. Upon her rescue, Kushina fell in love with Minato, and their relationship began. At first, the Nine Tails was sealed within Kushina. Jiraiya and Minato worked to improve the seal so that Kushina could live comfortably. At one point during a battle, Han and Roshi of Team 6 used a Bijou attack, inspiring Minato to invent the Rasengan over the course of 3 years. After proving himself and becoming a Junin, Minato was assigned as the leader of the team consisting of Rin, Obito, and Kakashi, whom he trained. Minato also invented the famous bell test used during exams with the goal of teaching teamwork. Kakashi understood this lesson and, just like Sasuke, used Rin and Obito as tools. However, since it still involved teamwork, they passed the test. At one point, during a mission to destroy Kanabi Bridge in Kusagakure, Minato handed leadership to Kakashi and fought against Iwa forces alone to save the remaining Konoha ninjas. As a result, he forced the third Tsuchikage to agree to a peace treaty. However, as we all know, Obito died during this mission, and the team returned to Konoha to mourn him. During these battles, Minato encountered A and B several times. One day he told A that he was certain A would become a Kage, and then he left. Later on, the seal containing the 9 tails in Kushina weakened, and special precautions needed to be taken. This coincided with Naruto's birth, so Kushina was moved to a special location outside the village, guarded by the Anbu. After Naruto was born, Minato immediately began working to repair the seal. However, the masked man we all know appeared. Tobi killed the Anbu guards and midwives, taking the newborn Naruto hostage. Minato managed to save Naruto and retrieve him, but Tobi then took Kushina and released the 9 tails. The 9 tails began attacking the village. After defeating the masked Tobi, as I mentioned when explaining the third Hokage, the 9 tails was drawn out of the village. Minato and Kushina shielded Naruto with their bodies, taking the 9 tails attack. Then, using a technique unique to the Uzumaki clan, Minato sealed half of the 9 tails into himself and the other half into Naruto before sacrificing his life. 5th Hokage, Tsunade Senju, is descended from both the Senju and Uzumaki clans. She is renowned as the world's most powerful medical shinobi. Tsunade possesses medical ninjutsu skills that no other medical ninja can rival. She has healed numerous individuals who have suffered both physically and psychologically, such as restoring Kakashi to his former strength after his significant psychological trauma from Tsukuyomi, and healing the microfractures in Lee's body that were said to make it nearly impossible for him to fight again. Additionally, she is highly knowledgeable in taijutsu and chakra control. Her brute strength during battles earned the admiration of Madara. Tsunade is so powerful that she can destroy mountains with a single punch, and is skilled enough in chakra gathering techniques to heal herself very quickly. However, over the years, she abandoned her ninja life due to the pain of losing her loved ones, but she was later convinced to return by Jiraiya. Tsunade is the granddaughter of Hashirama Senju. As Hashirama's first grandchild, he was very fond of her, and even enjoyed her affinity for gambling and money. After Hashirama's death, his necklace was passed down to Tsunade. After her academy exams, she joined a team led by Hiruzen, where she became teammates with Orochimaru and Jiraiya. Tsunade's younger brother, Nawaki, dreamed of becoming Hokage, but later died in battle. To prevent others like Nawaki from dying, Tsunade advocated for adding medical ninjas to all 4-person teams, but the resources for this were insufficient. Although Hiruzen's team eventually disbanded, Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and Tsunade continued to fight. During one battle, Hanzo, the leader of Amegakure, gave them the title of the legendary Sannin. Later, as her friends continued to die, Tsunade declared that becoming Hokage was foolish and left the village. However, after Hiruzen was killed by Orochimaru, Jiraiya and Naruto set out to find Tsunade. Seeing her brother in Naruto, Tsunade did not resist much and returned to the village as the 5th Hokage. 6th Hokage, known as the copy ninja, Kakashi Hatake, became Hokage temporarily at Obito's request. The reason for this was that Naruto was not yet a Junin after the war. Kakashi's mother passed away when he was very young, and he lived with his father. Kakashi's father was also a very famous ninja in his time, and Kakashi held great respect for him. As a child, Kakashi excelled in the academy with high marks, quickly became a Junin, and completed many of the Anbu's dark missions. During Kakashi's time as Hokage, he didn't face as many challenges as the other Kage. This was because it was a time of peace after the war, and most of his time was spent handling procedures and working to rebuild the village, all while preparing Naruto to take on the role of Hokage. Just like Minato, Kakashi invented Chidori and taught it to Sasuke. It is said that Kakashi knows more than 1,000 techniques. After the war, Kakashi lost the Sharingan that Obito had given him to Madara. Later, Obito reclaimed the eye before dying. As a result, Kakashi lost the title of Sharingan Kakashi and lived the rest of his life without the Sharingan. 7th Hokage, and everyone's favorite Hokage, Naruto Uzumaki, is here. I suppose it's enough to say that he finally fulfilled his dream of becoming Hokage. After becoming Hokage, Naruto spent his early days dealing with a mountain of political and economic documents. He couldn't spend much time with his family, and often had conflicts with Boruto. During the Chunin exams in the new Konoha, Momoshiki Otsutsuki attacked, and Naruto sacrificed himself to fight him one-on-one, and managed to draw him away from the village. To avoid giving spoilers to those who haven't watched Boruto yet, I'll say that Naruto engaged in prolonged battles with the Otsutsuki to protect his village until the very end. However, he eventually ended up imprisoned in a type of space-time confinement. Provisional 8th Hokage, Shikamaru Nara, is currently serving as Hokage in Boruto after Naruto's disappearance. During his tenure as Hokage, he has pursued a policy of maintaining balance and aims to protect the village. After Boruto left the village, Shikamaru did not revoke the death order on him, but the situation later changed. During Code's attack on the village, Shikamaru took charge of the evacuation with Konohamaru and prioritized the village's defense. After some time, Shikamaru decided to monitor Boruto in order to understand his plans. As you know, after the mind-switching incident between Boruto and Kawaki, he began to take these theories seriously and involved his old friend Ino to establish communication with Boruto. Eventually, Shikamaru managed to communicate with Boruto and secretly supported him. Later, as during Boruto's interrogation, he turned a blind eye to Boruto's escape. Shikamaru faced pressure to officially take on the role of Hokage permanently. Koharu and Homura wanted him to become the permanent Hokage. Subsequently, he met with Ada to confirm the emergence of the divine tree Ryu. Shikamaru continues to serve as Hokage to this day.